I have this lard and a little bit of coconut oil that I need to use up and some of this olive oil. So let's make some soap. This is going to be really simple. Use what you have in the kitchen. I also save my cooking oil. So there's some cooking oil, and I also have this. That will be another video for you guys. I'm going to show you how to recycle your old cooking oil, but for today, I just want to keep it simple. Pull whatever oil you have out of your cupboard or buy the big thing from Walmart, and we're going to go to the computer and make our own recipe. So this DIY soap recipe is pretty cool because, like I said, you can use whatever you want as long as it's oil or fat. So the first thing I'm going to do is set my units. You can do grams or ounces. I think I'll just do grams for now. And then you want to tare your... I'm going to measure everything in here. Whoops. Okay, so it's at 0 with the pan on there. And I'm going to start adding everything, all of my oils in. Okay, so I melted this a little bit. This is the coconut oil. And put that in there. So that is...
I heard like a splash.
Okay, so turn to 97 grams. And then for the olive oil pumice, I'm just gonna put a little bit in here. Well, I guess, you know what, I'll just use the rest of it because I don't really want to have this bottle around. Trying to declutter these days.
Oh, wait, give me this piece.
I should have tared it after that. Now I'm gonna have to do math. Okay, so now we are at 284. Okay, and then I added the pound block of the manteca, or the lard, and it is at 736. Again, I should have tared it before I added it in there. That would have been easier. But I'm gonna go write this down too. Says it right there. 454 grams. So I just need to figure out the difference between these two, my coconut oil and my olive oil pumice. So, okay, that was pretty fast. My homeschooling's been paying off. So this gives me my difference. That's a 7. Olive oil pumice, grams and grams. So now that I know that I have 97 grams of coconut oil and 187 grams of olive oil pumice, and I have 454 grams of lard, we can go to the computer and calculate our own recipe using whatever you want from your kitchen. Okay, really quick, I decided to toss in some castor oil. When you start learning more about oils and things like that, even on the light calculator, which I'll show you pretty soon, you can start finding out different properties of oils that they give the soap, and castor oil gives a good lather. It gives more like creaminess to your bar of soap. So if you have any castor oil, go ahead and add some in if you want. So that came to 61 grams. And I'm going to write that down on my paper. We'll go to the computer and formulate our recipe. Also, another quick note about castor oil is that it does have a tendency to give your bar a sticky feeling, so don't add too much. If you guys are enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. So far it's pretty easy. I mean, you just write down the weights of your oils, head to the computer, and we're going to go to soapcalc.net. It's this one right here. And this is this retro looking website page. It looks confusing, but you don't really need much on here. Let's hit number 1. Number 1, it will tell you about sodium hydroxide, which is the lye, the NaOH, and also about potassium hydroxide, which is more complicated and usually for shampoo stuff. And you click here to close this. And again, here you have the weight of oils. So we already weighed our oils, and we already know that we measured them in grams, so I'm going to put grams. Water, this will also tell you that by default it puts 38 recommended for beginners. If you're cooking it, that's probably a good idea, but on this one I'm just going to melt it. I'm not gonna heat it up and cook it. A lot of people will do it in the crock pot, which I think speeds up the curing time, but you don't need all that water. So I'm gonna switch this to 25. Then we go over to superfats. This will tell you that there's several possible variables. This is also called a lye discount. And sometimes what happens, like what just happened to me, when my lard said that it was 454 grams, when I was looking back on my weight and calculating what I actually weighed out, it only came out to 452. So that was 2 grams. So here, that superfat is kind of like a buffer where it's extra fat that the lye is not calculated in to converting into soap. So you could read more about that over here. And fragrance, I will leave that for now, and I like to double it when I'm done entering all of my info. Over here is where we choose our oils, and it's pretty cool because if you spend some time over here, you can see the different, what is it called? Different factors or different, I can't think of the word, properties. There we go, properties of the oils. And so I have it kind of off screen here, but you'll be able to see facts about different kinds of oils. So to keep this video kind of short, I'm just going to go ahead and start entering what I have, and this goes in alphabetical order. So I have castor oil. My castor oil came out to 61, so you can double click, and if you mess up you can hit minus. You can also click it here and hit plus, and then that's number 1. So if you want to remove something, you can also hit remove. Oops. You can put your number 1 in here and hit remove. So you could do it all those ways. You can also hit castor oil and then add. Then again, here's the percentage area, but we are doing grams, and so I have 61 grams of castor oil here, and my next oil is coconut oil. There's 2 different kinds. You can actually 3 different kinds. Defractionated is the liquid kind that you usually use for like massage and essential oils. 92, I've never even come across it, but 76, the kind that melts at room temperature is what is normally what we have. So that's what I have. So I'm going to double click, and then I'm going to put my weight that I measured out, which was 97. And then my next oil was in alphabetical order is lard. And here it is, double click, and my lard was 452 after I did the subtraction from my other oils, even though the package said 424. So again, if I hadn't caught that, that's what this buffer of superfat is for. Now going down to my last oil, which is olive oil, and I have the olive oil pomace, and that was 187. Okay, and then we're gonna hit calculate recipe, and then you see here it changed this weight of oils. So it added all of our oils here and changed our weight of oils to up here. And what I like to do here is double this. So I'm not sure if it will double if I do this. No. So you just go double here. So I'm going to go, instead of 24, I'm going to hit 48. Because I've noticed that my fragrance doesn't, okay, maybe if I hit 62 and then calculate. There we go. I've noticed that if I leave that like that, it smells good when I mix it, but then after it cures a little bit, it doesn't smell fragrant anymore. And that's pretty popular, that a lot of soap makers do. So again, I'm gonna hit, we already did calculate recipe, so now we're gonna go down here and hit view, and here is our soap recipe. Oops, I kind of have it out of frame there. So we've already weighed our oils, and this right here is going to tell you how much water to weigh out, how much lye to weigh out, and how much fragrance to weigh out according to the amount of oils that we already have. At the bottom you have an area that tells you about the quality of the bar, and as you start messing around with this lye calculator more, you can start changing your oils, which will change the quality of the bar. And a trick to add more bubbliness to your bar of soap is to use sugar. So that's what I'm going to do down at the bottom. I'm going to add on my notes that I'm going to put sugar, and I'm also going to put some oatmeal for exfoliating. And I'm also going to note that this is not for a hot process because I took out some of the water. I will also be sprinkling the sugar in at the end, because if you if you mix in your sugar to the soap or like the water, say at the beginning, it can heat up your bar and make things go a lot faster. It can harden your bar before you get a chance. It can harden your soap before you even get a chance to pour it. So this is the lye that I use. I just buy it at Walmart. It is 16 ounces and I buy it for about $4 something, maybe around $5. You just have to make sure that it says 100% sodium hydroxide. That is the NOAH. So that's what I use. You can order it online too, but I find that this is a pretty good price. Fragrances that I'm going to be using, you can use essential oils, but I actually like this brand. My husband bought these to sample them out. It's P&J off of Amazon. This was about $6, and these ones are both kind of sweet smelling, and so I took these two. I'm using cypress with this one and the patchouli with this one. They're very not sweet smelling. They need something to be paired with, so I found that these two are good pairs, sweet tobacco and cypress, and then the rose and the patchouli is what I'm going to do. And this was the box that these two came out of. This rose, I've bought a lot of roses and I haven't really been happy with them, but I love this one. It actually reminds me of the Miss Myers geranium set. So if you guys like this scent and are trying to find something comparable, this is definitely the one. I'm going to be buying the bigger bottle. There's a 4-ounce available on Amazon, and I'll put those links on there too so that you could have easy access to those ones. Some other additives that are good to add into soap is just loose leaf teas. I'm not going to be adding these today. I might be adding some rose hips. You can get rose leaf too at Joann's or whatever, but they're actually cheaper to buy at the health food store, which is pretty crazy. I also save espresso grounds to add sometimes into my soaps. I may add it into one of these. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing right now. But be sure to dry them really well before you put them in a bath, because I have had them collect mold before. And today I'm going to be using oatmeal. You can also add like micas or anything like that. I might add some of this. I got this on eBay a while ago, but I'll try to find a similar thing to put in the link below for you. By the way, if you guys haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really does help me grow. Our next step is to measure out our ingredients. So water is going to be 199.25 grams. I don't know about the 0.25, but let's measure it out. So I'm going to turn on my scale and tear my cup out. And I'm going to add water. Oh, it's a little bit over. Try that again. 77. Come on, I hate this part. Let's see. I might have to get a spoon. Okay, I think that's close. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, forget the 0.25. Okay, our next item is going to be the lye. And the lye is 108.76. Okay, so I have my cup and tear that out. And then I'm going to add 108.79, so it's closer to 109. The heck, this is all hard. Okay, I got it all busted up now. And I'm going to turn that back on. And it's 108.75, and this one doesn't have the points on my scale, so we have that lye buffer, and this is, it's not an ingredient, but it's just for like measurements and stuff like that. So I'm going to round up to, oh dang, that got everywhere. 109. Okay, I'll fix it. Just a sec. The stuff is kind of staticky too. It always acts like that. Perfect. So now we have our lye. So the next ingredient is fragrance. It's 49.41, which is about a little over an ounce and a half. So tear that out. And we'll start with this one first. The sweet tobacco. Grams. Oh man, I should probably take that thing off. Okay, so I took these the little tops off, and just for the sake of ease, I am gonna just do the whole 50 with this one. It might be the whole thing.
At 4 on News Channel 21. Do you have a photo or video that is begging to be in the spotlight?
Is it a full ounce?
Now's your moment.
Maybe it is. So it's pretty much a whole bottle, and I bet you that it'll take this whole bottle too. 40. It's supposed to be 40 something, isn't it? I'll find something else to add in here. Okay, so I went ahead and just added a little bit of this nutmeg one. Real quick, I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna set the fragrance oil aside, and I'm gonna go to the garage and I'm gonna put my lye into the water. You don't ever wanna do it the other way around, but you do wanna work in a well-ventilated area, so I'm gonna take it to the garage. Okay, I'm out here in my laboratory, and I'm going to add my lye into the water. And this will usually smoke and heat up. So just make sure that pets and kids are out of the way. Oh, okay, I'll be right there. And you just want to stir this really well. It's going to be stinky also. I was looking the other day, you know the manicure stuff that they put on your cuticles? That has this stuff in it, sodium hydroxide. So if you get it on your skin, you might start feeling tingling, but you don't have to be like deathly afraid of it. You shouldn't get it on your skin. You should be very careful with it. And don't just leave your lye lying around. Use at your own risk. Okay, so that's that. I'm gonna go upstairs and melt my lard. All right, so while the lye is cooling down, I'm gonna heat this so it can melt. And then while that is melting, I'm gonna grind up my additives. I'm not doing the rolls. I'm just gonna go ahead and use these coffee grounds that I have saved. They're not gonna make it smell like coffee. It's just gonna add like exfoliant to it. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay, I got a little sidetracked. I had to get dinner on the stove. So I'm gonna turn this back on and take the measurements to see if they're close enough that I can add them together. Okay, so 18. This one is 18. Oh, it's still too hot. Okay. They need to be within 10 to 15 degrees within each other. So while I was waiting for my oil to come to a close enough temperature to add my lye, I went ahead and set up my station. I have my pouring, my mold, my immersion blender here, and I'm gonna probably split it to mix, you know, whatever I want in there. And here's the coffee and the sugar and some stirring spoons. I thought it would be pretty cool to kind of just sprinkle some sugar on the bottom of the mold here. So I'm just gonna do that. That'll kind of look like crystally and textured. And I'm gonna take the temperature of the oil again. Okay, so we're at like 105, and I'm gonna check the lye water, and it is at 103 in there. So that's close enough. Okay, so it's a good idea to put gloves on, and then I'm gonna slowly start adding my lye to this oil together. And so a good idea is just to pour it like this down the stick of the blender, so that way you don't have any splashing. Put that there. And then make sure there's no air in the head of the blender. And then you can just start. And when it reaches a consistency of like pudding, then that's called trace. And so I'm just gonna stir this until it gets there. Okay, so we're at trace, and you can see, hopefully, that when I lift it and it has those lines in there that kind of looks like pudding or whatever, that's trace. It leaves a trace on it. So we're done with that. Now I can divide it up and start adding my additives. It's getting thick already. Hopefully I'll have time to pour it. Oops. Okay. Yeah, that's getting really thick. I should probably just pour it in there right now, even without mixing all this stuff. But I'm just gonna dump some of this in here anyways, and hopefully I can get that in there. Hopefully it won't set up on me. All right, that's about a couple tablespoons, yeah? Perfect. So now I'm gonna put this in here and stir this all in. Okay. I forgot my fragrance.
You serious?
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna stir it in. Totally forgot about the fragrance. What a dummy. I'm gonna have to mix it in super, super well while it's in the mold. All right, I better go get it before this sets up. It's gonna basically mess up all the swirls that I did. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I don't recommend doing this, but I'm gonna put this in here and just try to stir it all in. Okay, so let's see how it goes. is some mica light gold. There you are. Okay, so I'm really glad that it's at this consistency and it hasn't set up yet. I'll try some of this bronze mica. Ooh, pretty. Whoa, that was a lot. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna sprinkle some sugar on the top.
Was your mommy driving you crazy today?
Wow. Perfect.
Oh, happy.
So this is the next day, and yes, I left all of this like this because now it's soap. So instead of trying to smear everything off, I leave it like this and then I just wash it off with its own soap. This is ready, so I'm ready to unmold this and we'll see how that goes. So to unmold this, just pull this thing out, and you can use anything that you have as a mold. You can use like a milk carton or anything. And there we have soap. I'll put it this way. It smells really good. I like it. And I'm gonna make these a little bit smaller. I think I'll use this one. And you can just chop. Oh god. Kind of a bronzish color. And it smells really good. You can see that it has the coffee in there. And you can't see the sugar too much, but it is there. So that'll be nice and exfoliating. And then you just want to set these like on a rack to cure. So I'll get these all chopped up. Okay, so this is my soap. It is done. I got, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 bars out of it. The end piece is a little bit small, the last end piece. But I think they came out really good. I know I'm not like a professional artist or whatever, but I'm saving money on Artisan soap. And these smell really good. I definitely recommend these. So this is Sweet Tobacco. This is by P&J. And again, I will put the link on it. And then this is a different brand. S-Lux. So I'll put the links in the description below. But there it is, guys. I mean, I think that costed maybe $12 for, it was about $6 for the scent, and I don't even think the lard costs that much. I'll figure it out, but this has got to be under $10 for some non-toxic, high-quality Artisan soap that you made yourself. And you can use like whatever you have in the fridge. Honestly, to be honest, the reason I didn't use that manteca is because I got it for tamales, and when I smelled it to go use it, because I use manteca for everything, what happened is it smelled like that weird smell that oil gets sometimes when it gets old. But the oil doesn't have, like, you can't smell manteca, you can't smell the old oil soap after the lye cooks it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the thumbs up if you did, and thank you so much for watching.